Hello and welcome to Endeavour's GK capsule for the month of September 2020. The monsoon session of the Parliament was organised in this month. Therefore, the news this month was dominated mostly by the 25 bills passed by the Parliament during the monsoon session, some of which became controversial, like the 3 agriculture reform bills. Also, the month saw deaths of many eminent personalities. Let's look at these and other highlights of the month. The first category is awards and recognitions. Famous British broadcaster Sir David Attenborough was awarded with Indira Gandhi Peace Prize for the year 2019 in an online event. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh conferred the award to Sir David Attenborough. The Indira Gandhi Peace Prize, which is formally known as Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development, is presented by Indira Gandhi Memorial Trust since 1986. The award is given to individuals or organizations who work towards ensuring international peace and development. Sir David Attenborough is world's leading authority on the natural world. He is a powerful voice for environment protection and preservation of natural world. His famous TV series, 7 Worlds, 1 Planet, is broadcasted on BBC One on Sunday nights. Kerala received an award from the United Nations for its outstanding contribution towards preventing and controlling the spread of non-communicable diseases. The UN Interagency Task Force Award was announced by WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom. This is the first time Kerala has been recognized for the annual award by the United Nations. Kerala's Health Minister K.K. Shailaja said the United Nations Award was a recognition of the lifestyle disease control mechanism in Kerala and the treatment and free services received by the population. Earlier in June this year, K.K. Shailaja was honored by the United Nations for her efforts to tackle the coronavirus pandemic. She was among a few of the world leaders invited to speak on the occasion of the United Nations Public Service Day on 23rd June. The next category of news belongs to persons in news. The US Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away at the age of 87. She was suffering from pancreatic cancer. She was the second woman to serve on the Supreme Court of USA and a pioneering personality for women's rights. Justice Ginsburg's pointed and powerful dissenting opinions attracted worldwide attention, earning her the nickname the Notorious RBG. She became a cultural and legal icon in America with t-shirts, costumes, mugs, stickers and books featuring her, selling in the market. Her biography, Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, became a bestseller after publication in 2015. Next year, a special biography edition was released for children with the title I Dissent. Born in 1933 to a Jewish family, she faced numerous challenges on her way to the Supreme Court. She lost her mother at 17, entered an exclusively male world of lawyers and judges, helped her husband through cancer, and raised children while attending Harvard Law School. She served as a professor at Columbia Law School before being appointed to the United States Court of Appeals as a judge. In 1993, she was appointed to the Supreme Court as a judge by the then President Bill Clinton. In her 27 years at the Supreme Court, she became a liberal icon through her judgments supporting gender equality, women's rights, same-sex marriages, etc. Her death, just before US presidential election in November, has opened another line of conflict between Democrats and Republicans over the question of appointment of her successor in the Supreme Court. Keswanand Bharti, the head of Idanir Mutt at Kasargod in Kerala, passed away at 79 years due to age-related ailments. He is most remembered for his petition in the Supreme Court that led to the basic structure doctrine of Indian Constitution. He filed a case in the Supreme Court against the Kerala government taking over the land of his mutt as per the Kerala Land Reforms Act of 1969. The petition was heard by a 13-member bench, the largest ever bench in the history of the Indian Supreme Court. The case of Keswanand Bharti versus State of Kerala was heard for 68 days and holds the record for the longest proceedings ever to have taken place in the Supreme Court. In its verdict delivered on 23 March 1973, the Supreme Court outlined the basic structure doctrine of the Indian Constitution. The basic structure refers to those attributes of the Indian Constitution that cannot be amended or modified by the Parliament. The verdict is one of the most referred to case names in Indian constitutional law. Legendary singer S.P. Balasubramaniam passed away at the age of 74. He was admitted to the hospital after testing positive for COVID-19. S.P. Balasubramaniam was a playback singer, musician, music director, actor, dubbing artist, and a film producer. He worked predominantly in the Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Hindi, and Malayalam industries. He has also worked in Bollywood. He holds the Guinness World Record for recording the highest number of songs by a singer with over 40,000 songs in 16 different languages. He had won 6 National Film Awards for Best Male Playback Singer. He was also honored with Padma Shri in 2001 and Padma Bhushan in 2011. Former Union Minister Jaswant Singh passed away at an age of 82 years. Jaswant Singh was one of the founding members of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Considered to be close to Atal Bihari Vajpayee and L.K. Advani, Jaswant Singh held defense, finance and external affairs ministries in the Vajpayee government. He had fought the 2014 Lok Sabha election as an independent candidate after the BJP did not give him a ticket, but he lost that election. Before joining politics, he served in the Indian Army as a major. Scholar, author and art historian Dr. Kapila Vatsyayan passed away at the age of 92 years. She has written nearly 20 books on different forms of arts and classical dances of India. She was also a great institution builder. She was the founder director of Indira Gandhi National Centre for Arts. She was also the chairperson of Indian International Centre. Government of India presented her with Padma Vibhushan in 2011 for her contribution to the field of arts. Let us now look at major highlights in the category of national news. President Ramnath Kovind gave his approval to all the 3 controversial agriculture bills. The bills were recently passed by the Parliament during its monsoon session amid protests from opposition parties and farmers' organizations. The 3 bills, namely the Farmers' Produce Trade and Commerce Bill, the Farmers' Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill, and the Essential Commodities Bill, have now become acts after President's approval. The first bill, that is Farmers' Produce Trade and Commerce Bill, gives freedom to the farmers to sell their produce outside the government mandis or APMC markets. The second bill, that is Farmers' Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill, gives the farmers the right to enter into a contract with agri-business companies for the sale of agricultural produce in future at a pre-agreed price. And the third bill, that is the Essential Commodities Act, removes commodities like cereals, pulses and vegetables from the list of essential commodities and will do away with the stock holding limits. While the government hailed the bills as a landmark achievement that will make farmers self-reliant, the opposition parties called the passage of bill in Rajya Sabha as unconstitutional and disastrous for the farmers. The Shiromani Akali Dal even pulled out of the BJP-led alliance at the centre over this issue. Farmers, especially in Punjab and Haryana, have been protesting against the bills and said that the new bills will lead to dismantling of the minimum support price or MSP system, leaving farmers at the mercy of big companies. However, several union ministers, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, defended the bill. Parliament has passed 3 key labour reform bills. The 3 new labour codes, namely Industrial Relation Code, Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition Code, and the Social Security Code, were passed by the Parliament during its monsoon session in September. The first of the 4 codes, which is the Wages Code, was passed by Parliament earlier in 2019. This completes the government's codification of 29 different labour laws into 4 labour codes. The first law, which is the Industrial Relation Code, consolidates the laws relating to trade unions, conditions of employment and settlement of industrial disputes. Under this law, companies employing up to 300 workers will not require government permission to lay off workers or close down the plant. The code also prohibits trade unions from striking without a prior notice. The second law, which is the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code, consolidates the laws regulating workers' safety, health and working conditions of employees in an establishment. A worker will now get at least 50% of the penalty in addition to compensation in accidental cases. Employees who meet with an accident while going or coming from the workplace would also get compensation. Earlier, only workers who got injured during duty hours at the workplace were eligible to seek compensation. The third code, which is the Social Security Code, extends social security benefits to all employees and workers in both organized and unorganized sectors. The Parliament of India passed the Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill 2020. The bill seeks to amend the provisions of the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010 by enhancing transparency and accountability in the receipt and utilization of the foreign funds and donations. The amended bill makes it mandatory to furnish Aadhaar numbers of office bearers of NGOs for registration. The bill also provides for reduction in administrative expenses of any NGO receiving foreign funding from the current 50% to 20% annually. It is mandatory for NGOs to open an account with the State Bank of India at Delhi to receive foreign funding. The government tried to convince the Parliament that the bill is to promote transparency in foreign funding and is not against any NGO. However, international human rights NGO Amnesty International has stopped its India operation after alleging victimization by the government. The Amnesty International's bank accounts were frozen by the government. The government said that Amnesty International was receiving foreign funds illegally, while the NGO said that it is being targeted over its adverse reports on alleged human rights violations during the February Delhi riots and in Jammu and Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370. The Election Commission of India announced the dates for the highly anticipated Bihar Assembly elections. The election will be conducted in 3 phases in October and November, and the results will be announced on 10th November. The election schedule was announced after Supreme Court rejected a petition that sought to postpone Bihar elections in the view of COVID-19 pandemic. Model Code of Conduct was brought into force with immediate effect in the state. Election Commission has also directed the social media platforms to safeguard against the misuse of their platforms for spreading fake news. Let us now look at major highlights in the category of international news. US President Donald Trump hosted the leaders of Israel, UAE and Bahrain in Washington for the signing of the historic Abraham Accord. Abraham Accord is the first Arab-Israeli peace agreement in 26 years. Israel was represented by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, while UAE and Bahrain were represented by their foreign ministers. As per the agreement, UAE and Bahrain will establish diplomatic relations with Israel. The two countries will establish their embassies in Israel and work together in sectors like trade, tourism, and security. The Abraham Accord is a bilateral agreement with Israel and does not mention the Israeli-Palestine conflict. Donald Trump, seeking re-election in the November presidential election, is hoping that the two major diplomatic deals would help him in the polls. India has raised strong objection on Pakistan's decision to conduct general election in Gilgit-Baltistan region. India conveyed to Pakistan that the entire region of Jammu and Kashmir, including the areas of Gilgit-Baltistan, are an integral part of India and that Pakistan has no legal basis for conducting elections there. Pakistan has announced that elections for the Legislative Assembly of Gilgit-Baltistan will be held on 15th November. Elections were earlier scheduled to be held in July, but Election Commission postponed the elections due to coronavirus pandemic. Let us look at some news from the field of business and economy. British telecom company Vodafone won an international arbitration against India over retrospective tax demand of 20,000 crore rupees. The Permanent Court of Arbitration in Hague ruled that Indian government's demand of a tax liability on Vodafone is a breach of the bilateral investment treaty between India and Netherlands. The tax dispute originated from Vodafone's acquisition of Indian assets of Hutchison Telecom in 2007. The Government of India raised a tax demand on Vodafone Hutchison deal under the Income Tax Act, which expanded to 20,000 crores, including interest and penalties. In 2012, when the Supreme Court decided in favor of Vodafone, the government changed the law retrospectively, putting the tax liability back on Vodafone. In 2014, Vodafone initiated arbitration proceedings against India in the International Arbitration Tribunal, which has now ruled in favor of Vodafone. A three-judge bench of Supreme Court comprised of Justice Arun Mishra, Justice Abdul Nazir and Justice M.R. Shah has allowed telecom companies to stagger their payments of the adjusted gross revenue-related dues over the next 10 years. Earlier in October 2019, the Supreme Court had ordered telecom companies to pay 1.47 lakh crore rupees to Telecom Ministry as license fees and spectrum usage charges accumulated since last 14 years. In the fresh ruling, the court has said telecom firms like Vodafone Idea, Bharti Airtel and Tata Teleservices would need to pay 10% of their AGR-related dues by 7th February every year until 2031. Failure to pay the installments on time would invite penalty and contempt of court proceedings against the CEOs of the telecom companies. The Supreme Court decision allows some breathing space for telecom sector, which is facing liquidity crunch and falling revenues. The Abu Dhabi Investment Authority has announced to invest 5,500 crore rupees in Reliance Retail. This investment will translate into a 1.2% equity stake in Reliance Retail. With this investment, Reliance Retail has raised approximately 38,000 crore rupees from leading global investors including Silver Lake, KKR, General Atlantic, Mubadala, GIC, TPG and ADIA in less than 4 weeks. In the end, let's look at some other miscellaneous news items. The National Institute of Nutrition has increased the average body weight for Indians by 5 kgs. With this, the average weight for Indian men has been increased from 60 kgs to 65 kgs now, while for the Indian women, average weight has been increased from 50 kgs to 55 kgs now. Along with the change in the average weight, the National Institute for Nutrition has also revised the heights. The average height for Indian men is 5.8 feet and the average height for women is 5.3 feet. Earlier, the average height for men was 5.6 feet and for women it was 5 feet. These revised weight and height for both men and women will now be taken into consideration for the calculation of normal body mass index. Around 400 whales have died in mass stranding on the island of Tasmania in Australia. It is the largest mass stranding recorded in the world. The mass stranding is a natural phenomenon in which whales move towards the shore when they are sick due to bad weather or due to navigation errors. In another tragic development, more than 300 elephants died in Botswana in last 6 months due to cyanobacterium toxicity. Botswana has nearly 130,000 elephants, which is roughly 1/3 of Africa's total elephant population. Toxic cyanobacteria are increasing in number due to warm weather conditions in Africa caused by climate change and global warming. With this, we have come to the end of this video. We hope you like the coverage of topics in our monthly GK capsules. Do also watch our other videos. Happy learning. Thank you.